Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. It was meant to be a quiet Friday night. After months of distance between us, my wife, Jessica, suggested we go out for dinner. She said we needed to talk. Her voice sounded calm, almost too calm. I wasn't expecting miracles. She had been distant for a long time, always on her phone, always working late. Still, a small part of me hoped she wanted to fix things. I wore my best shirt, made a reservation at her favorite Italian restaurant in Portland, Oregon, and tried to believe we still had something worth saving. But the moment she sat across from me, I felt it. Her eyes were far away. Her fingers tapped against the wine glass like she was counting down the seconds. This wasn't a talk about saving our marriage. This was the end. The waiter had just poured our drinks when she looked up and said, "Daniel, I'm leaving you." No hesitation, no tears, just flat, steady words. I stared at her, waiting for something, anything to show she felt regret. There was nothing. "I've met someone else," she continued. "He makes me feel alive again." A strange calm settled over me. Not anger, not even shock, just clarity. I slowly set my fork down, leaned back in my chair, and asked quietly, "So this dinner was for what, exactly?" "Closure," she replied quickly, almost relieved that I wasn't shouting. "I didn't want to end things badly. I want us to stay civil." Civil. That word hurt more than anything else. 10 years of marriage, and I was being dismissed like a meeting that had gone on too long. I really looked at her then. Her hair was styled differently. She wore a new perfume. Her phone kept lighting up with messages. She pretended not to see them. "What's his name?" I asked. "It doesn't matter," she answered quickly, glancing around the restaurant. "I just need to be honest with myself now." I gave a small smile. "Honesty is a good place to start," I said. "You might need it in about 2 minutes." She frowned. "What is that supposed to mean?" I didn't answer. I simply looked toward the entrance. A tall man in a gray suit had just walked in, helping a woman out of her coat. I recognized her immediately. His wife. And the man was Ryan, Jessica's business partner, the same one whose photo had appeared on her phone 2 weeks earlier. Ryan froze when he saw us. He was still holding his wife's purse. For several long seconds, the four of us stared at each other across the room. Jessica's face turned pale. I leaned forward, my voice steady. "You didn't think I'd invite them, did you?" Her eyes widened. "You what?" "When you started acting strange, I looked into it. It turns out Ryan's wife had questions too, so we decided to have a small dinner meeting." Ryan's wife, Claire, looked directly at him. Her voice was soft, but it carried across the silent room. "So it's true." Ryan tried to speak. "Claire, please, not here." She cut him off. "You said the business trips were over. You said you ended it." The entire restaurant had gone quiet. Jessica's hand trembled as she lifted her napkin, pretending to dab her mouth. But the panic in her eyes was impossible to hide. I leaned back and watched. No shouting, no dramatic scene, just the slow, unavoidable truth stepping into the light. Finally, Jessica turned to me, her voice small. "Daniel, I didn't know she'd be here. This wasn't supposed to happen." I tilted my head. "You mean getting caught wasn't supposed to happen?" I stood up calmly, placed my napkin on the table, and left enough cash to cover the bill. Jessica reached for my arm. "Daniel, wait. Please." I paused long enough to look at her. "You ended this marriage the moment you decided I wasn't enough. I only gave you the stage to say it out loud." Then I walked out. Later that night, Claire called me. "I needed to see it with my own eyes," she said quietly. "I never would have believed it otherwise." We talked for a long time. Two people hurt by the same lie. There was no romance, no grand plans, just understanding. The next morning, Jessica came to the house in Salem. Her eyes were red, her makeup smeared. "I'm sorry," she cried. "It's over with him. I was stupid. I lost everything." I looked at her for a long moment. "You didn't lose everything," I said calmly. "You gave it away." She asked for another chance. I gave her the honesty she claimed to want. "You said you needed to be honest with yourself. Stay honest. This is who you are now." Then I closed the door. In the months that followed, I rebuilt my life. I sold the house, accepted a new job, and started traveling again. I later heard that Ryan's marriage fell apart. His career suffered badly after Claire filed a formal complaint. Jessica moved into a small apartment alone in Eugene. The freedom she thought she wanted tasted more like regret. Sometimes I still think about that Friday night. The exact second she froze when the door opened. When the truth walked in and took a seat at the table. She believed she was leaving me for love. Instead, she stepped directly into the consequences of her own choices.